I have a question for you, and that is, are you making a memorable first impression when you are meeting others for the first time? I believe that your image is your most valuable asset. It is something that is going to produce currency in so many different aspects. And being intentional about your image is something that should be on the forefront of your mind each and every day. Every day that you get up and leave out of your home, you are going to have some type of encounter. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know when you're going to meet this person and how you're going to meet. But it's vital that you already have some strategies in place, top of mind, so that when you meet people, your intention is to make sure that you leave a memorable impression upon them, that they will want to call your name again if the opportunity presents itself. So let's get into it. If this is your first time here on today, my name is Sherry Brewer and I'm an image strategist. If you want to learn more about what I do in terms of image management, you can check me out at refiningimages.com. Today, I have 5 strategies that I want to share as it relates to how to make a more memorable first impression. I believe that it is just so vital for us to learn how to get back to these skills in person. Now, I think we have kind of set back and become a little bit complacent in the virtual space. We are used to Zoom meetings. We put our best photos up there. We don't have to log on and be present if we don't want to in most situations. But at some point in time, you're going to find yourself having to meet someone in person. Let's just say you are mostly on Zoom, you have a stay at home a work from home job, and you want to apply for a new job role. And they say, hey, you know what? We want to meet you in person. Well, that may kind of freak you out a little bit if you have not been in front of people in a while in an informal way. So you want to make sure that you get out of the monotony of being online virtually, hiding behind social media, hiding behind these doctor photos and filters and all the like, and get back to being comfortable meeting people in person and knowing how to make that connection to where their impression of you is memorable and lasting. Okay, so let's get into it. So these 5 strategies that I have is the things that I picked up over the years of teaching about image management. And I believe that these have risen to the top in terms of what I call being authentic and just organic. And these are tried and true. They work over and over again. And they're not super fancy. They're just things that I think that we forget about when it comes to all the other things that crowd our minds and that compete for our attention. Sometimes we think that it's about our credentials, it is about our job titles, it's about maybe the labels that we're putting on our bodies, but ultimately it comes down to really how we present ourselves, okay? How we can work with what we have today. So you shouldn't be stressing yourself out about things that you do not have or things that you don't have access to. Just think about getting back to you and using what you have in your hand to make the most memorable impression. Because I believe that opportunities that are truly for you will be for you. If you are the right fit, if your destiny is calling for you to be in that place, then trust me, if you are intentional about putting your best foot forward, then that door is going to open and you're going to be a great fit. But you still have to put some effort into how to be memorable, because I think that the competition is just risen on so many different levels that you just have to really make sure that you're doing what you can do to be the best at getting the best opportunities. All right, let's get into it. If you're ready, I'm ready. The first thing that I have is I want to ask you a question before I dive into the details, and that is, when you are meeting someone for the first time, or let's just say generally speaking, when you're in conversations, do you do more of the talking or do you do more listening? There are talkers and there are listeners, and I don't know if there are people in between. I'm kind of joking here, but seriously, sometimes people who are talkers or who are labeled as talkers can talk in such a way that they forget to include and pull in other people in the conversation. But when you're meeting someone and you're wanting to make that first initial impression, I say do more listening than you do speaking. By listening more than you're speaking, you're gaining so much vital information, so many important facts that will arm you for the next opportunity that you may have in front of this person. I think that when you listen, you're able to remember what they've said, give that back to them. You can restate these things back to them, and that person will know, number one, you're really listening. I also think that if you really start to think about follow up questions that you can ask them as they are sharing details, that lets them know that you are really interested in them. And I also think that when you also can make comments or add some commentary to things when you have the opportunity, people begin to start to feel connected to you. Or if you don't have that much time at the first encounter, when you see this person again, or you decide to follow up with them in an email, you're able to say, "Hey, how is X, Y, and Z?" Or, "I remember you saying this." You can follow up on something that they shared with you, and that person immediately lights up, because guess what? They feel seen, they feel heard, they feel like that I matter. And I believe that those people who are listening to us, those people who look like they're genuinely interested in what we have to say, we remember them. I personally remember those people, and I always enjoy speaking to them because they make me feel like I am an important person. So, my first tip is do more listening than you do talking. The second thing that I have is the second and the third tip that I have is around your personal image, of course. And that is the first one is to make sure that you are pulled together. Now, we can dive down a very long rabbit hole when it comes to image, but I'm going to focus today on fit. Fit is so vital for you to make sure that your clothes fit well on you. You can make something that looks that's not very expensive look amazing. And things that look expensive and don't fit well will look ill-fitted and make you look like you're frumpy, or make you feel like that you just don't care. So fit is so vital. So it doesn't matter if you don't have a lot of money, or if you have a lot, you need to make sure that the fit is where it's at. It's not about the label. And people may see something that's a label and comment on that, but ultimately, you need to be more concerned with how something fits on you. So, my challenge to you is to go in your closet and do a closet audit. One Saturday or one Sunday, take out everything, or do it over the course of a couple of weekends, and begin to try everything on and do an audit. For everything that fits very well on you, let me tell you something. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you're going to smile. There's something about that piece that when it fits great on you, when it looks like it's custom and made for your body, you're going to light up. So pay attention to how you look when you try things on. If you do not do that when you try on articles or garments, and then put those things in a pile, because it may be to where you just do not like them anymore. You don't like the article of clothing anymore. It doesn't resonate with who you are today. You may have bought this item a long time ago, and this is just not something that fits your style. So put that in a pile. And then I would say for things that just don't fit, sometimes we just may gain a little weight, or we may have things going on, and something may not fit. So I would say put those things over in a bin, store them away. And that way, if you do get to where you may lose some weight, if that's the issue, then guess what? If you want to go shopping, that bin is the first place that you can go shopping in, because you can wear those clothes then, but you can wear them now. But I think that it's key to remove them out of your wardrobe, because you need to be focused on the things that you wear that you look amazing in today. Sometimes we get a little amnesia. We want to go and grab something that's a little too tight. We start pulling out the safety pins and try to stuff ourselves in something. And trust me, if you have to stuff yourself in it, then we see it. We see the little cinches in your chest that something is too small. We see that you're struggling. We see that there's spillage over the little muffin top in your jeans if they don't fit well. So you want to make sure that you remove those items out of your wardrobe, and only leave the things that makes you look absolutely amazing. You can take something that's super basic, and when your hair is pulled together, makeup is done, or if you're a guy, you have everything, you're groomed well, something this basic, you will look pulled together if it fits well on you. I cannot hammer this in enough. Go find a seamstress, get things altered, but make sure that things are impeccably fitting on your body if they are not. Now, the third thing I have, again, in the realm of visual image, is about color. Think about color psychology is just going to be one of the best tools you have besides fit. What you wear and the color that it is really, really highlights your personality. And it really conveys a message back to the person who's looking at you based on what you wear. Colors tell a story about your personality. And whether you are intentional about that or not, it does. If you're someone that wears certain colors on certain days in certain situations, it's going to fit into that narrative. So you need to be very intentional about the colors that you put on your body. So, for example, let's just say you're going on a date. You don't want to wear, I wouldn't wear bubblegum pink if you are a lady. You can come off looking a little too girlish or a little immature if you do that. But there are certain shades that you can wear that really intensifies maturity and says that you're open for love. So maybe you can wear a red dress or a black dress, a sheath dress that's fitted, form fitted to your body. And let's say it's a V-neck, so that's going to be open and convey that you are open and available to this situation. But if you're all closed up and closed off, and have things that are really busy and circus like, again, if that's your personality, hey, I would say stick with that. If the quirkiness is what you're trying to attract in somebody else, then it's be true to you. But just know that colors are going to communicate a certain personality about who you are. Pay attention to people like politicians, and note that they wear a lot of blue and a lot of red. Red is a power color also. So it's love color, but it's also a power color. So they will put on red, a red tie, to convey that I'm a person in authority. Blue conveys trust. So when you wear blue, that's something that you want to wear to say, hey, you guys, I'm trustworthy. I'm someone who's loyal. I'm peaceable. So pay attention to the colors. It all works into the narrative. Even if you don't know or feel like that's what they're doing, that is what they are doing. If you are someone who is in a position of leadership and you have to have a hard conversation, sometimes you want to just pay attention to what you wear. You don't want to put on this black power suit and you got to give some information that's going to really crush some people. Let's say you have to lay some people off. You want to come in with your black power suit on that day. So I can go on and on about color psychology, but I want you to know that colors are very important. Pay attention to the compliments people give you about your colors. When they encounter you walking upon you and their eyes light up and they say, oh my gosh, you look amazing. That is an amazing color on you, or that dress looks amazing. It's the color working for you. So take note of those things. Those are your colors. Now you can come to somebody like me and have your colors done per se. But I believe that the most authentic and organic way that you can tell that your colors are working for you is just pay attention to how people respond to the colors that you wear. And also, the opposite works. You can come off as looking standoffish or someone who doesn't want to be bothered if you wear a lot of dark clothes, if you wear things that are closed up in terms of your chest area, if you wear things that it just signify that you're super formal. Those things matter. So pay attention to color, but you want to be memorable. That's the goal. And so sometimes you can't control when you meet someone for the first time what you are wearing that day. But the next topic that I have will take care of that. So we can always manage color. We can always control what we have. We're meeting someone for the first time because it may be just by chance. But the next thing is going to communicate that. And that is facial expression. This is huge. Now, because again, we are in this era, virtual space, that we are hiding behind cameras. A lot of times we don't even turn the cameras on. We can post up these pictures. We put on these filters. We do all of these things that really hide our true self, our true image, what we are thinking and how we're feeling. A lot of times we're just not present. But when you're in somebody's space in person, your facial expression is going to tell the story. Now, I think that it's possible that people may not know what their facial expression looks like. I have been told, oh, your face looks like you're upset about something, you're mean. And I don't think that is true about me. I'm a person who I consider to be a deep thinker, or I'm deep in thought, and who knows what that face looks like. But let me tell you something. This here just recently, I was on a Zoom call and I was hearing information that I did not care to hear. I just didn't like what the person was saying. And I happened to catch a glimpse of myself on my camera, on the screen, my little square, and my face, y'all, was toe up. It was jacked. And I was like, oh my gosh, I had to fix my face. But sometimes when you're hearing things and you're responding to things naturally, organically, you don't know what you look like. I just happened to have the camera in front of me as that was happening. And that taught me, please pay attention to your face when you are even hearing information that you don't want to hear. What if someone was in that meeting who I encountered for the first time, and they see my face all screwed up, scrunched up, and everything, and they're like, wow, this person is just unhappy, or they can come up with all these different things to think about me in their first encounter. But you have to make sure that we are paying attention to how our face is. And you have to practice having a resting face that is pleasant, that is neutral, and you just have to again make sure that your face is not wrinkled. You can feel when you pay attention and tune into it. You'll know if your forehead is wrinkled or your face is tense and not relaxed. So pay attention to your facial expressions. A smile immediately brightens up your eyes and lifts up your countenance. So, your face is just the most amazing thing that you can do to really engage with people and connect with them. Eye contact is so important. I think that we may, I'm assuming that we know in this society in the United States that an appropriate level of eye contact is at 60%. So you want to make sure that you're not staring at someone, because anything over that, that would be staring. I have had someone to literally stare at me and not blink their eyes, and it was the weirdest thing ever. So pay attention to how intensely you are looking at someone. Is great, and it conveys confidence when you do have great eye contact. But I would say make sure that you are not overdoing it or not underdoing it, and those things are so vital. And the last tip that I have for today is to become a great communicator. Now, this takes time and effort, and it just something that you have to build over the years. But I'm telling you, people, this to me just is just it elevates you on such a high level when you know how to communicate. People love great communicators. I remember I took a training a couple of years ago, and I happened to be in this training with the wife of an ex FBI and CIA director. And this individual, she was so humble and so kind, but this was public speaking was a part of this training. And I remember that when she opened her mouth to tell stories, we were on the edge of our seats. I wanted to hear every word that dropped out of her mouth. She knew how to tell good stories. So I would say becoming a good communicator encompasses so many different things. Being able to tell a good story, being able to tell a great joke, being able to lighten it up and break the ice, being someone who adds an element that really lifts the air in a room that may be heavy. I'm telling you, a great communicator is something that is so valuable that people gravitate to great communicators. That is something that you should really work on honing. And if you do that, you will again will begin to distinguish and set yourself apart from many other people. I believe some other things that you can do is learn new words, not just words to sound impressive or pretentious, but start to pay attention to the acumen of other industries. Think about the medical industry if you're not in the industry, or think about the legal industry, the political arena. These are terms that you can start to dive into and learn about, so that when you're engaged in different people from these different sectors, you can at least understand some basic terminology, and you can relate to them on a general level. And I think that people appreciate that when you can speak the talk and the language of something that you don't know. When you can cross over and engage, people will include you in conversations. So I believe that again, it's just vital. Work at becoming a great communicator. There are so many different outlets for you to practice to do that. Toastmasters, they will teach you how to. I'm a part of Toastmasters, so of course I'm going to promote that. But Toastmasters will teach you how to make those jokes in an impromptu type level. Table topics will allow you to learn how to just talk generally about any different topic. So again, that's not the only avenue, but there are so many things that you can do to work at becoming a great orator. People love great speakers. People hang on to their every words. People want to invite them to the parties. People love listening to them over dinner. People just love when people know how to communicate. Those are my 5 tips on how to become a memorable person. You don't have to get all fancy, but just think about how to just get back to the basics. How you show up, how you look, the things that you say, the colors that you wear, the fit of those items, being a great listener, all those things matter when it comes to making sure that you are memorable in the minds of people that you meet for the first time. My name is Sherry, and again, you can check me out at refiningimages.com. Please like and subscribe to this channel, and I hope that I will have some great content for you to tune into in the future. But again, thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to hearing about how you have boosted your image when it comes to, or your memorability factor when it comes to meeting people for the first time.